Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, my name is Christina and I've been here at Northshore TMS since, I think, late January. My background is I was a mom for many years home. I went back to school for occupational therapy. I'm a certified occupational therapy assistant. But in the interim, I met Dr. Carlsen and I came on board here. And I've been working with the TMS, I've been administering TMS, and I also help out administratively.
What kind of questions do the patients ask you about TMS when they're first starting out?
When they first start, they want to know if it's going to hurt. They really want to know at what session am I going to notice a change. And we can't really answer exactly what session that is. For some people, we've seen it as soon as 7, like the 7th session, and sometimes it's later, it's that 3rd week. Also, what it's important, it's not necessarily linear. So it's not that on day 7 they see improvement and then day 8 and day 9 it continues to improve. They sometimes have like ups and downs, which is something that we've seen. But ultimately, if they're having some improvement, they might go through those little, like I said, ups and downs, but then it improves. So by the end of the sessions, and we work here, we do the 30 sessions with an additional 2 weeks at 3 times a week. So by the end of treatment, they notice a huge improvement in their mood. If they have anxiety, a lot of times the anxiety is better. And they're more engaged in life. So they're looking at activities that they hadn't been doing before.
How do you describe TMS for somebody who's never felt it before?
A lot say it's like somebody's knocking on their skull, and more patients are saying it's like a woodpecker kind of pecking on their skull. Most people get used to it. By the end of the first week, even by the end of the 2nd day, most people adjust to it, and they don't really have that many complaints. A lot of people might say it's annoying, more annoying than painful.
Can you share with us a patient story that stands out in your mind, or any personal observation you've had? Maybe the patient didn't notice right away themselves, but something that really stood out in your mind.
I feel like I have elements of so many patients into one, but we have patients who come in the first few sessions and make sure there's tissues because they're either dealing with some kind of loss, whether it's in grief, whether it's a person that they lost or a relationship that they lost, and they go through a lot of tissues, and I just respect that. They want to kind of get it out, and usually within the first week they're starting to talk more, and instead of just closing their eyes and not wanting to communicate, they're opening up more and telling you more. And in that process, that's when I see the difference. I see, as I said, someone might say, "Oh, I don't know if it's making a big difference," but I notice they're sharing more with me, and they're also telling me stories about, I went out the other day, and I had one patient who kept saying, she was working with her therapist, and they were trying to come up with some kind of hobby because I have no hobby. She kept saying, "I have no hobbies, I have no interests." But as we were talking more and more, I was learning she really enjoys fishing, and she really enjoys, baking, and all of these activities were coming out of her, and she started doing a little bit more in that area. And about midway to the last couple of weeks, she joined Weight Watchers, she joined a gym with a friend of hers, and she was really getting out and trying to make positive changes in her life. We had another patient who just had so many different interests, but by the end of treatment, he had asked if we could come with him, because he said we were his hype squad, meaning Danielle and I, we were his hype squad, and he liked, he felt like he needed that in his life. So I just think overall that people go from more tearful to looking forward to getting involved again. And they love getting, it's an investment of time, so they also have all this extra time now to pursue some of their interests.
How many total sessions were these 2 patient stories that you just shared with us, were they undergoing?
Our patients here come 5 days a week for 6 weeks, and then we have a tapering off process. So for the last 2 weeks, they come 3 days a week, or we could possibly do three weeks at 2 days a week for an extra 6 sessions.